The Royal Wessex Yeomanry have been putting a group of Challenger 2 tanks through their paces as part of an exercise on Salisbury Plain. Hannah Gurney has more.
Advancing forward, 4 of Britain's main battle tanks approach the enemy. Working in pairs, the troop of tanks use the land for their camouflage as they move forward. Weighing more than 60 tonnes, the Challenger 2 battle tank needs a crew of 4 people to control it. This training exercise on Salisbury Plain allowed reservists to command tanks together and also to demonstrate skills to fellow soldiers.
We were just demonstrating how a tank moves cross country. We started off very obviously on a hillside, and then we used the ground to try and hide and manoeuvre and push ourselves closer to the enemy position. We were simulating an advance onto what would have been a static position. So the purpose of tank is sort of shock action, and the idea is that all 4 vehicles were moving onto the enemy position as quickly as possible. They would have been using their main armament and then pushing through the position ready to move on to the next phase.
The Royal Wessex Yeomanry is the only armoured reserve unit the British Army has. It will act as backup to the 2 regular tank regiments.
When we had a previous role as individual armoured replacements, we were putting in turret crewmen, so we would have gunners and loaders that we mainly trained. That left many less jobs for officers, and we didn't train drivers. And it probably wasn't the best way to go to war at the time, because we don't go to war as individuals very often. The army trains to go to war as groups, and that's a capability. And I think that's one of the best things that we can bring to pass in all this, is the fact that we're now training these units to work together. And for us, that's fantastic. So we're manoeuvring tanks as the Yeomanry across Salisbury Plain, and applying all the things we know we can do, and we're doing it in a much more cost-efficient way for the British Army.
This is the first time that reservists from all 5 squadrons have been out training on Salisbury Plain since they joined the 3rd Division's reaction force last month.
It's one of the biggest exercises we've done probably in the last 10 years. So as we go towards Army 2020, our numbers are increasing, and people are really energised about our new role.
More than 150 reservists were at the training exercise. Aside from tanks, the regiment were also practising flares.
Some flares, like the one they're setting up here, is quite bright, so it's used to dazzle the enemy initially, to surprise them. Then they've also been using signal flares, which were the green ones, and then you can have the larger rocket flares as well. You give them the appropriate training to not only assemble but also disassemble, so if they don't use them, they can be safely cleared away and used again.
The regiment's next challenge will be a live firing exercise later this year. Hannah Gurney, Forces News on Salisbury Plain.